Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be reviewing what we did yesterday. We talked about the hide and sneak deck that we've been playing. We made a few edits before our tournament yesterday and it went really well. We ended up getting third place out of almost 30 people. So we played 5 rounds and the only loss that we had was against a Dragapult deck where we started a Meowth and they crushing hammered us 3 times and discarded 2 of our energy and item locked us, and we kind of just lost the game from there. But we ended up going 4-1 and I felt really good about the deck. So I just want to talk about some things that we added in and discuss anything that we kind of want to change for the tournament today. I ended up not taking any videos of the games yesterday because I just felt like I wanted to focus on my gameplay instead of trying to get content. I feel like sometimes when I'm trying to record my gaming experience, I don't play as well. I get distracted by the camera, and I really wanted to just focus on the gaming. So today we're going to be heading down to Brooklyn Wasteland, which is down near Coney Island area, and I can attempt to get some footage of the games if we want to see how this deck performs. So I think a huge card that really helped us out yesterday was the Lily's Clefairy EX. I have been resistant on playing this. I ended up adding it to the deck, and I feel like it made a huge difference in the games where you play against Dragapult, where you can one-shot them with your Dhelmise and deal 340 damage to them. It really takes the pressure off of me as a player having to think about them monkeying the damage back to me, and being able to one-shot a Dragapult and take 2 prizes is a really great way to speed up the game. We ended up also including Meowth EX, so we hadn't been playing. We played, I think, maybe 1 round or so of this card in our deck, but we decided to run it yesterday and it felt really good, except for the game that we started with it in the active. That was a bit brutal. You know, that doesn't happen too often, and it shouldn't happen too often, especially when you play with 14 basic Pokemon in your deck. So just bad variance luck. But the times that we were able to use it and capitalize on its last-ditch catch effect, it ended up winning us a game where we were able to search our deck out for boss's orders and boss up something to win the game. So we talked about Naveen yesterday, which is a supporter, and it was one of the cards that I re-added to the deck. I had been testing it out and taking it out, but I decided to put it back in, and it ended up playing really well as just an extra draw card. It also, you know, lets you discard cards if you need to, but really just having a couple extra cards that allow you to draw towards the end of the game was really useful, and it ended up working out for us. So I believe we ran 3 Naveens and 3 Lily's Determinations, but let me make sure. Yeah, 3 Naveens and 3 Lily's Determinations, and then we played, I think, 2 Pokepads, maybe 3 Pokepads. And it really, I felt like the deck was smooth and it worked well. Maybe just 1 Pokepad. I feel like Pokepad was not, it hasn't been a super necessary card for us. We ended up using a proxy for our Brilliant Blender because we couldn't find one in the store and nobody had one for trade. Yeah, we only ran 1 Pokepad yesterday, and I felt like I wasn't needing it at all. So we ended up running our proxy Brilliant Blender, which was an incredible card. I think that is an absolute must-have for the hide and sneak deck, allowing you to search out 5 hide and sneak Pokemon at any time, basically, you know, whether it's late game or in the early stages of the game. It really helped progress our game strategy and plan. And so like there was times where we were able to search out 5 Pokemon, get up to 13 for our Spirit Tomb, and win games in that that way. Spiritomb ended up winning us our last game. I really like Spiritomb. I felt like it was a great addition to the deck, and I definitely want to keep it in there. Transformation Tome was huge once again. You know, I feel like every single time I play this deck, I'm really enjoying playing the Transformation Tome. So this is, it allowed me to discard my Spiritomb early in the game. And then for the end of the game, we were playing against a Beedrill EX deck in our last game, and we had 12 hide and sneak Pokemon in the discard pile. Ended up attaching an energy to our active hide and sneak Pokemon, discarding our hand with Naveen, drawing 5 cards, hitting 2 of these transformation tomes, and being able to switch out our active hide and sneak Pokemon for our Spiritomb, and having 13 in the discard pile and winning the game. So it worked out perfectly. I think this card is absolutely a great card for the deck. And overall, I felt really happy with just the way the games played out. The one game that we lost, I was so tilted and frustrated with just, you know, losing to such a bad game, and it was crazy because my opponent put all 6 of his damage counters, attempted to, on my Shuppets, not knowing that they don't even take any damage from the Dragapult. So it was just one of those games where, you know, you're playing against a player who doesn't really know much, and he's getting super lucky, and, you know, it's just incredibly tilting. So these are the 3 cards that we added to our deck. Night Stretcher, as I said before, it literally ended up just giving me an energy. I said that in our last video, where a lot of the time I think it is just going to get a basic energy. You know, there of course are going to be times where you play a Meowth early, go search out for a Pokemon, a supporter that you want, play the supporter, and then tomb the Transformation Tome the Meowth away and get the Meowth back with Night Stretcher and play it again. You know, that I think is our best case scenario for our Night Stretcher, which I don't mind keeping a Night Stretcher in the deck in case that comes up. I think that would be a really strong combination. You know, the other thing that I think Night Stretcher would get back would be like a Lily's Clefairy, because Lily's Clefairy is the target that Dragapult is always going to target, you know, 100% of the time. If they have the boss's orders in their hand, they're 100% of the time always going to target the Lily's Clefairy. So I could see Night Stretcher getting back Lily's Clefairy and being useful for that. Boss's orders, the one-of, ended up being really good for our deck. You know, a lot of the time you're not needing to use boss's orders in this format right now, just because every single deck wants to have their strongest and most aggressive Pokemon in the active spot. So a lot of the time you're fighting against that already. The times that boss's orders comes in handy is when you need to win a game, or you need to, you know, almost feel like you need to do it, like tricky things with it, where you sometimes boss up like a second Pokemon just to put damage counters on it so you can win with a Spiritomb in the next turn. A lot of the time, boss's orders feels like just a one-of. Special red card, I think we might have used special red card one time in the 5 games that we played. So it feels like something that maybe could be taken out. I feel like you need to be playing it just because there is no cap on a hand size. So having access to special red card can help sometimes. You don't want your opponent having every single answer under the sun by the end of the game. And you know, just being able to mitigate that is probably best. So we ended up keeping our 4/4 lines of each hide and sneak Pokemon. So we ended up playing 16. There was one game, which I think was the game that we lost, where I checked my prizes and I did have 3 hide and sneak Pokemon in the prizing. But even with 3 hide and sneak Pokemon, you still have access to 13 hide and sneak Pokemon in the deck, so you're still able to use your Spiritomb. And this was another addition to the deck that we have been playing. We haven't taken Shaman out at all. Yesterday we ended up not using Shaman one time. So I'm not sure if this card needs to stay in the deck. I feel like it does, but at the same time, I didn't use it one time. I didn't search it out one time. I felt like, you know, I didn't even see it in any of my, I think I saw it in one hand the entire game. So Shaymin, maybe it's something that we just take out at some point, because a lot of the time you're probably not going to play it too often. But overall, I felt really positive about the deck. It was the first time in a long time where I felt really confident in this deck. And it was a lot of fun to play 5 rounds and have a lot of success with it. So our prizing actually went up from what I told you guys it was going to be yesterday. So first place got, since we had almost 30 players show up on a Tuesday at 3:30, they upped the prizing for everybody and also dropped it down to top 8. So first place still got the Greninja box, which was like $55. They also got $55 in store credit and 10 Pitch Black booster packs. So they got $175 worth of product in their pocket for playing 5 rounds of Pokemon, you know? When you think, I played against somebody named Harris yesterday, and he was telling me how he's a chef. I was telling him how my kitchen is literally next door to where this place is. And, you know, I was playing seriously, and he was kind of trying to just have fun with his Dragapult deck, which is always a contradiction in itself. You know, anybody who's playing Dragapult and trying to have fun is definitely not just trying to have fun. But I ended up beating him because Lily's Clefairy came in clutch. And, you know, talking to him about how these 5 rounds of Pokemon are basically more than more than I was making at catch cooking. You know, winning the tournament would have basically been twice as much as I make at catch anyways. So me being able to make $75 yesterday in product is still basically a full day's worth of work, which is why I like to do Pokemon as my full-time job now, because I think that it really does make the difference when you win tournaments. You make a minimum wage, if not more, you know? You know, if you make $175 for a few hours of play, that's like, what is that? Let's say we started at 3:30, I think we ended at like 7 or 8. So 5 hours worth of work divided by 175 divided by 5 is like, you know, close to almost close to like $50 an hour, right? Like, I guess like $35 an hour. You know, that's a great job. I've only had 2 jobs in my life that pay close to that. So we dropped down to 9 energy yesterday, and I felt like it went really smoothly. We were talking about how 10 energy felt like a lot of energy, 8 energy felt like not enough. So we decided to choose a sweet spot at 9 energy, and it really did feel like it was a sweet spot. So I think we're going to keep it at 9 energy for today's tournament. I'm hoping to pick up an actual copy of Brilliant Blender, because that card was amazing for this deck. I don't feel like I want to make too many changes to the deck, and other than that, I feel pretty positive about what we did. So this is our winnings plus $30 store credit. So we got 2, 4, 6 Pitch Black booster packs, the entry pack, and $30 store credit. So I felt like that was a pretty good payout for 3rd place. When you think about Pitch Black booster packs being about $7 a pack, 7 times 6 is 42, plus the $30 worth of store credit, so I basically made $72 for getting 3rd place, so felt really good. And I just wanted to come back on here and share what we did, and talk about not recording and thinking about recording, and, you know, the decisions that we made. We ended up not playing Iris's Fighting Spirit and not playing Morty's Conviction, because at the end of the day, I felt like if I had multiple hide and sneak Pokemon in my hand with one of those supporters, I think I would rather just see a Naveen a lot of the time. So I decided to change out Morty's Conviction and Iris's Fighting Spirit for Naveen. Having a single Pokepad in the deck feels a little crazy because, you know, obviously it's a good card. Being able to search things out and get hide and sneak Pokemon into your hand before you start discarding is always good. So, you know, I could see dropping down a Naveen, maybe dropping down a Lily, but Lily's Determination is always powerful. I'm not sure if you really need to play 3 Naveens in the deck because a lot of the time I felt like I was using Lily's Determination over Naveen, like I was using Lily's Determination over Naveen prior to yesterday's tournament and prior to the discussion we had yesterday. Just because Naveen is just not as powerful of a draw engine as like a Lily's Determination. And a lot of the time you want to be seeing an Ultra Ball and a Prism Tower out of your Lily's Determination anyways. So that could be something that I change. But other than that, I felt pretty confident and positive and felt like we made huge progress yesterday based off of the changes we made and the discussion that we had. So I hope that you get something from these videos, and I hope that you have good luck with the deck. I think my plan right now is to save the packs that we have through the month of August, see how many packs that we can get up and see how much basically money that we make this month playing Pokemon. You know, it's fun to just open packs as you get them, but I've also been enjoying seeing the stack grow basically. So right now I think we have over, you know, probably 15 prize pack 9s, a bunch of prize pack 8s, a bunch of prize pack 7s. We have, you know, we restarted our sealed collection, so I think it's just important to each month kind of just save up all the sealed product at the end of the month before the new month starts, open everything, sell what we can, and see how much money we make, and keep kind of a record of that. So that'll be something that we can look forward to. I also found out that I'm 3rd place and possibly 2nd or 1st place now in the summer league that they're doing at the trainer court. So every week you get points for attending and staying through a whole tournament. Top finishes get you points, each win gets you a point. And then they have a deal where if you spend $30, you get a point for each $10 you spend. So you can cap out at $30. So they have this really, really cute packaging for their products right now. I don't know if you can see all these really adorable New York themed Pokemon images on their paper bags that they give out. So I hadn't seen this one before, and I ended up getting 2 Ascended Heroes packs for 37 bucks after tax. I feel like Ascended Heroes is a great gambling pack. You know, a lot of the time you're missing, but you know, if you have to spend $30, I think that Ascended Heroes is the pack to be spending it on, because if you do hit, you're hitting really hard. These other packs that are $7 that you end up just getting for free anyways when you win tournaments, I don't think those are as worthy as spending your money on. So we're going to save those, and we're just going to build up our collection over the month of August. We got to think about the Baltimore Regional that's coming up in September. That's right around the corner. You know, we have basically a month to prepare for that. Worlds is going to be happening, which I'm not invited to this year. I didn't make Ace Trainer either. So I kind of had a rough season last season, but this summer we really dedicated ourselves to kind of sticking to our guns and not backing down and getting tired and taking the summer off. I really wanted to keep the momentum going, get prepared for the next season, and kind of train like an NBA player basically. You know, NBA players have a crazy schedule, and I really respect them and learned a lot from watching the NBA this season, because I'm not a big sports person, but my girlfriend is. And so it was really fun to watch like the rigorous scheduling that NBA has and kind of, emulate that in my own life with Pokemon. So that was my goal this summer. This past month, I felt like I was relatively average. I didn't attend every single tournament that I wanted to. I do have days where I get these brutal migraines where I just can't go to a tournament. It's just too painful. I can barely even breathe and get out of bed. And then the trains in New York have been absolutely ferocious. And they've been, it's been really difficult to get anywhere. So there's been days where I'll be like, I'm going to the tournament, and I'll get to the train and it's not running basically. So there's been those types of days, but I think for the most part, we definitely went to most of the tournaments that we scheduled ourselves for. We've already got our schedule for August, which is completely booked up. And I'm excited to keep on going. Right now we're working on a binder painting that is just right over there, and it's looking absolutely beautiful. I'd love to show you now, but I think I'm gonna wait and not spoil the surprise, but it's for the Pitch Black binder. We're a couple weeks behind. We kind of fell off, and that's something that I'm definitely not proud of for the month of July. I really thought I was going to be able to stay on schedule, get my binder painted, go to all the tournaments I wanted to go to, and see some good results. But I think it was kind of a relatively average month, where I have a mediocre attendance rate, got some good results, got some bad results, didn't finish the binder that I wanted to finish. So I had to give myself a 2 weeks extension. And I still don't think that I'm going to be able to meet the deadline, which is also disappointing. But come August, we're really going to crank down and focus on getting consistent results. I think consistency has always been difficult for me. A lot of the time I think I do really great and really bad, and I don't have a consistent nature, just because of the way that I grew up. I grew up literally homeschooled. A lot of the days we would wake up when we wanted to. We would do very little work and didn't have a rigorous schedule. I think going to like a public school, having to be there, like literally having to be there at a certain time, having to get to your class at a certain time, having to do what is expected of you without any leeway, it creates a different type of person. And I value my creativity and my flexibility and my skills that I developed by myself through homeschooling and through just being independent. But I think that consistency is a huge thing that I want to work on, and so that was something that I wanted to work on this summer, and I feel like I've done a mediocre job at it, and we're gonna really push for August to be a lot more consistent and get ready for our tournament in Baltimore for the first regional tournament, and not be results oriented but be input oriented. I think that is a huge difference. So as always, happy collecting, good luck in any of your games, and I will see you next time.